The Penn State Nittany Lions are 11-3 overall, 2-1 in the Big Ten after getting a win over Iowa 83-79 in Happy Valley tonight. And we are joined on Field of 68 After Dark by the head coach of the Nittany Lions in his second year, Micah Shrewsberry. And Micah, you beat Iowa in a battle in the Big Ten. What stands out to you the most about the way that your team got this win tonight?
I was impressed. Like, we were locked in defensively to start the game. I thought our guys came out with a lot of aggression on that end, really followed the game plan, what we were trying to do, how we tried to guard them. Second half, we weren't the same way, and credit to them. They were great. Chris Murray was fantastic in the second half, but so was some of the other guys, and they attacked us and got us back on our heels. But we started the right way, and I thought that was big for us.
Coach, Jalen Pickett has been All-American caliber for you this season. I mean, even tonight, 26, 7, and 6. What does he bring to your team that's so special? When you sit and watch him, that big, strong physical body, he's like a point forward, point center guard. Like he's hard to explain in the college game.
Yeah, he uses his body really well. He's good at angles, like seeing how people are guarding, spinning off, scoring, kind of gets where he wants to. And then, the luxury around him this year is we got a bunch of guys that can shoot it. So they space the floor really well, and give him those outlets, give him those options. But he's such a steady guy, right? You look out there, you always feel like, hey, things are going okay, right? We're not playing great down the stretch. We're turning it over, like our hair's on fire. And you look at him and he's just like, yeah, we're okay. All right. That's a good feeling as a coach when you have a guy like that.
To that point, Andrew Funk goes for 20 points. You hit 9 threes. You've got a top 35 KenPom offense. You talk about it's one thing to have guys that can shoot it. You certainly have them. But how much are you seeing high shot selections, positive shot selections that are leading to all these results?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. They're just taking good shots. They're taking rhythm shots. They're taking rhythm threes. Like, the leash is a little longer for an Andrew Funk, for a Seth Lundy, right? I allow them. They're such good shooters that you get some. Like, Funk's going to come off of a screen and shoot it from, the nose of the Nittany Lion, because I feel like that shot's going in, right? If Seth Lundy catches it and the guy's not in his airspace, I'm telling him, shoot it. Shoot it every single time, because he's such a good shooter. But those guys, they take good shots, and that's helped us. Even when we haven't shot that great in games, I like the shots we're getting. And so I never talk to these guys about shot selection, because it doesn't really come up a whole lot, because they play mature offensively and they take really good shots.
Coach, you start Keba Jai. After that, and he doesn't play all that many minutes. He played 7 minutes tonight. You guys are rolling 6-6, 6-7 pretty much through the lineup. And Fanta and I were talking before you came on for this interview. You guys throw a certain yin to the Big Ten's yang. Like, there's not an aircraft carrier on your team. It's 5 guys that all can dribble, pass, and shoot. And is that your emphasis during your time there in Penn State, or getting guys that can do a little bit of everything?
I think versatility, right? We in Keba, like, I would love to play him more. Like, he got in the early foul trouble, and then the second half he picked up a couple of quick ones. But we try and mix it up. Like, we'll throw Mikey Hen in there for a couple minutes, or throw Caleb Dorsey in there for a couple minutes. Then you got Miles Dredd will be at the 5. Then Evan Mahaffey, and all those guys are so different, right? And like, we try and we don't have an aircraft carrier like everybody else, but we're going to force you to figure out how that aircraft carrier is going to try and guard us on the other end. And like, you can't just think about one guy. Like, Evan Mahaffey's bringing the ball up the court, right, and driving and passing. Like, Mikey Hen spotting up and shooting threes. Like, Keba setting screens, rolling to the rim. Like, all those guys are different. So, instead of focusing on one guy, now you got to prepare for like 3 or 4 or 5 of those guys, and they're all doing something different. So that we try and turn that to our strength. We don't, like, us being small is a weakness, right? Well, let's flip it and make it our strength. And then, we got to battle on the boards. Like, that's what we talk about. Keep it close on the glass. And then, we're number one. Hopefully we're still number one in the country in turnovers. We don't turn the basketball over. We're not going to give you extra possessions. We want to get shots, and our guys have done a good job of getting shots.
And the first thing we all want to say when we watch your team is we want to look at the offense. But personally, I think whenever you have those smaller lineups in, I don't know that there's a better team in the country at swarming to the basketball, especially that ball gets inside of 15 feet. Your guys are on high alert. I mean, it's almost like having all those versatile guys, those big, strong, versatile guys, they get to the help side so fast. I mean, what makes your defense unique as far as that's concerned against, the Purdue's and the Michigans and things like that?
I think for us, we spend a lot of time on, our discipline, our details. We're a system. We got a defensive system. And when guys get comfortable in the system, now they can play fast, right? And that's getting there. We're getting to that point. But having guys that have been here, like now we rotate, Miles has been here now. Pickett's been here. Seth has been here. I've coached them all. Like Funk and Cam are, plug and play. They're old. They're veteran. Now you start to get Evan Mahaffey up to speed. Like some of those other guys, like we're playing off instincts, and that's what we want to do. That's who we want to be. They know, like, this is where we're sending them. Now let's go and scramble and, be as tough as we can and be as disciplined as we can and try and get you to take the shots we want you to take.
Right. Well, it's a lot of fun to watch, Coach. A lot of fun to watch.
Mike, I think about where you're at and the leap that you've taken from year one to year two already. Coaches often have different theories. They'll say year one's so hard because you have to start building from the ground up. Others have said to us, year two can be tougher because now you're trying to sustain it and build on top of that. How do you view the situation?
It was kind of different, the situation that I walked into. But being able to get some of the guys to stay and buy in. John Hare was huge for that for us. He really helped us establish our culture of how we wanted to play, right? Like he's on the Mount Rushmore of people that I've ever coached because of what he did, like for me, right? Personally, for this program last year. He's forever. I'm a flag waver for him forever, no matter what he's doing. But getting Seth Lundy, and now he's comfortable. Getting Miles Dredd to stay. When we got Jalen Pickett, that was huge. That was huge. It was kind of went under the radar a little bit, but I knew how good he was just by watching him, just by talking to him. And then we've been able to piece it together with the right kids. We took time, right? We didn't take a boatload of transfers. We took a lot that were 1-year guys, but that allowed us to bring in 5 freshmen, right? So I got a chance to recruit those guys. I got a chance to be around them for a year. I know him. I know Evan Mahaffey. I know what makes him tick. I know Jameel Brown. I know how to motivate him. So now you got guys that you're around, but then the guys that came in as transfers have been older, mature, guys that have just, it's all they've asked about is winning, right? Like Andrew Funk, Cam Winter never asked me about shots, never asked me about minutes, anything else. And it's showing with how those guys are playing.
Tell us the story of how you got Pickett.
That was man, Adam Fisher did a great job of recruiting Jalen. Here's where it's unbelievable. So, we're watching Zoom, and, Jalen never got a chance to visit, right? It was during COVID and everything else. So we're watching Zoom, and I got a video playing on the Zoom, and I pause the video. Okay. So nothing's moving. And I start talking about a play, not the play that's on the screen, a different play. And I'm like, okay, if this guy's doing this, then we would, try and do this. And he starts to answer it. So I'm like, oh, this guy is basketball IQ, right? Like, not the play that's on the screen. It's easy to say, oh yeah, he should do this. Like, I'm talking and he's understanding what I'm saying without seeing it, without it being drawn up and everything else. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, we got to get him somehow. He had great numbers. He was really good at Siena. Like the numbers that he's putting up right now, he was doing that at Siena. And just the way we wanted to play, having a point guard that could control everything for us. That was a huge, huge, huge get for us. And, we had to work. And like his mom, he's really close with his mom. He's really close with his Nana. And, I remember Fish like FaceTiming them, like in the stands, talking about where their seats would be.
That's amazing. That's a great story. And we were talking before we welcomed you on the show, because look, you take over this job that's in an ultra competitive conference, as deep of a league that you're going to find in the country night to night. I just look at your upcoming schedule. What? Michigan, Purdue, Indiana, Wisconsin. I mean, just no rest for the weary. And the thought comes to mind, like, you're not going to out Michigan State. You're not going to out Purdue. You're not going to out Wisconsin. To you, how do you do it at Penn State?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. There have to be things that are similar, right? Like working for Coach Painter for 4 years, growing up, watching the Big Ten. Like, there's things that have been similar to the programs and the teams that have won, right? Like, if you don't have a team that's a tough, hard-nosed, man-to-man defensive team, you're not gonna stand a chance, right? If you can't play with toughness, if you're not gonna, be a grinded out, dive on loose, taking charges, whatever it may be, like, you're not going to have a chance to win in this league. Right. So that's the standard bearer, right? That's the price of admission for doing this. Now, like, let's find a way to be a little bit different. Right. And let's find a way to play a little bit unique where we can separate ourselves. And, I think through recruiting, we've tried to find that. We've found we're starting to get bigger, longer, more athletic. And I think as we continue to recruit, we'll have some of that. The skill level is got to be high. And the versatility has got to be high. So now we can play, I'm playing more like we played in Boston, right? Doing a lot of the same stuff there, trying to find matchups, trying to hunt matchups, and then letting our guys play. So that's how we're a little bit different. But the other things, they got to be there, right? You go back to Bo Ryan, you go back to, Gene Cady, Bob Knight, like Tom Izzo, Judd Heathcote, whoever, like tough, hard-nosed, defensive, man-to-man teams, and rebound that basketball. Give yourself a chance every night.
Well, you're doing more than that. You've won 5 in a row, playing at a high level. The Nittany Lions, hey, they're more than a sleeper. They're not that. They're a dark horse and a team that's coming up in the Big Ten. And Micah Shrewsberry, we know you're a big reason for that. Congratulations on the 11-3 start to the season. It's a fun storyline in college basketball. And I know Terrence Oglesby is envious of your offensive style.
That's right. That's right.
The good part of it, Terrence, it's not always – so there's times when it's nothing to be envious about. But I love it. Like, I love our guys. I love how they play, man. They're unselfish and like bombs away. I mean, if we shoot 100 threes, we shoot 100 threes. But, we got good players shooting them, so we're going to make a fair amount.
You do. Happy New Year, Coach.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on, guys.